The story begins with John Alexander, his wife Melanie, and his daughter Hannah. Melanie isn't Hannah's biological mother, but there's still genuine love in the family. Recently, they moved into a new house in a quiet suburban neighborhood. John wanted a fresh start, and both he and Melanie immediately liked the place. Hannah, however, still missed her real mother and her old life. The new house was larger than their previous one, but Hannah's pet cat didn't seem too comfortable there. While the family was busy unpacking, Hannah started decorating her room. When she went downstairs, Melanie asked her opinion about where to place a desk. Melanie always tried to involve Hannah in household decisions, hoping she'd feel accepted and close to her. Outside, John notices their neighbor Ray, a locksmith, struggling with his car. John offers to help and strikes up a conversation. Their realtor had already advised John to rekey all the locks in the house, and Ray agrees to take the job. Meanwhile, Hannah is in her room when her closet door suddenly swings open on its own. She brushes it off and simply shuts it again. Later that evening, she talks to her boyfriend Tommy on a video call. Sensing her sadness, Tommy reassures her that everything will be fine. But suddenly, the call disconnects. John, however, isn't fond of Tommy. He wants Hannah to focus on her studies, and after some of her past behavior, he had even grounded her for 2 months. Hannah admits she doesn't really like the new house. She says she could stay with a friend for a year to finish her senior year. John refuses, reminding her that she isn't responsible enough. He brings up her past mistake, how she secretly threw a party at their old house, which ended with her being arrested for underage drinking. That incident had left him very disappointed. Even from the very first night, Hannah sensed something strange in the house. While she was asleep, she felt her blanket being gently pulled away. A little later, she woke up with a start and went downstairs for some water. That's when she noticed the desk had shifted from its spot. Behind it, hidden from view, was a vent. Hannah assumes her father must have moved the desk since he didn't want it blocking the vent. She pushes it back into place, but then hears her cat meowing outside. Shocked, she wonders how the cat got out. At that very moment, we see a shadowy figure watching her, but Hannah doesn't notice. She opens the door, trying to bring her cat inside, when suddenly the house alarm goes off. Panicked, she rushes to turn it off. John and Melanie wake up, and Hannah explains she accidentally opened the door while trying to get her cat back in. Everyone returns to their rooms, but Hannah notices the desk has moved again. This time, she ignores it. Strange things soon begin happening around the house. Her cat goes missing for an entire day, her belongings are found out of place, and food disappears from the fridge. Still, no one pays much attention. Before heading to work, John shows Hannah the garage, explaining that the furniture and items left there belonged to the previous owners. He tells her she can keep anything she likes before the rest is cleared out. Among the old things, Hannah finds a locket and decides to keep it. That same day, their neighbor Ray comes by to do some lock work. Since John isn't home, Melanie supervises. But Ray's behavior is unsettling. He flirts with Melanie and makes her uncomfortable. He even suggests she should have all the locks changed, though she doesn't agree at that moment. Later, while searching for her cat, Hannah comes downstairs and finds Ray recording a video with her camera. Both Hannah and Melanie are disturbed by this, and from that point on, their trust in Ray is gone. That night, we once again see a shadowy figure in Hannah's room. By morning, her blanket is found on the floor again. Later, while she's showering, the same eerie man appears in the background. Suddenly, the lights go out, and when they flicker back on, Hannah sees a strange handprint, terrifying her. She knows this couldn't have come from her parents. Shaken, Hannah confides in her boyfriend Tommy, who came to visit, even though he lives far away. She tells him something strange is happening in the house, but Tommy tries to reassure her, saying it just takes time to adjust to a new home. When Tommy leaves, their neighbor Rosemary stops by to congratulate them on moving in. After a short chat with Hannah, she leaves since Hannah's parents weren't home. One day, Hannah goes back to the garage where she finds some old photos and a camera. Suddenly, a young boy appears and asks her how it feels to live in that house. Hannah is confused, but the boy explains, "Every neighborhood has at least one creepy house. In ours, it's yours." His words disturb her, and she later tells Melanie and John. John, who had been hiding the truth, finally admits something dark about the house's past. 10 years earlier, a man who lived there ended the lives of his wife and daughter before taking his own life. After that, another family moved in, but left suddenly. John insists it's an old tragedy with no connection to the present. But both Melanie and Hannah are upset that he kept this from them. That night, Hannah searches the incident online and discovers that the lost family also had a teenage daughter. Then she heard a sound from the attic, and Hannah thought it might be her cat. She goes up to check, but the lights go out, and she senses she isn't alone. Terrified, she screams and runs for the door, only to find it locked. Hearing her cries, John and Melanie rush upstairs. Hannah, shaking, tells them someone else is up there. John, however, doesn't believe her. He thinks she's only imagining things because she just learned about the house's violent history. John had kept the house's dark past a secret because he didn't want to scare anyone. But Hannah was convinced something strange was happening there. The next day, she looks through more belongings left by the previous owners and then visits their neighbor, Rosemary, for answers. Rosemary explains that the lost family had kept to themselves and seemed normal. That's why, when the tragedy happened, it went unnoticed for some time. As for the family who lived there afterward, Rosemary says they eventually stopped paying rent and disappeared without warning. She insists the house isn't haunted. It just takes time to adjust, and only kids see it as creepy. Later, while talking to Tommy, Hannah learns he had left her a video message on her camera during his visit. But she never saw it, because the camera had gone missing. Around the same time, Melanie suggests they go out together. During their talk, Hannah realizes Melanie also hears strange noises in the house, though Melanie believes there must be logical explanations and nothing supernatural. Suddenly, Melanie gets a call. The house alarm has gone off. They rush back home, only to find it was a false alarm. Watching them from outside is Ray, their neighbor. John calls the security company, but Melanie suspects it was Ray who tried to break in. His strange behavior and constant talk about changing the locks made her uneasy. John doesn't believe her at first, but finally agrees to replace the locks, though he hires someone else to do it. When Ray finds out, he confronts John angrily, clearly upset about being left out. Meanwhile, Hannah discovers her missing camera back in her room. Things disappearing and then reappearing only add to her fear. Curious, she watches the recordings. She finds Tommy's video message, then the creepy footage Ray had taken earlier, but also something far worse. A video filmed at night, capturing strange noises and the voice of an unknown man wandering through their house. Terrified, Hannah shows the footage to John and Melanie. Convinced now, they call the police and file a complaint against Ray. But since Ray isn't home, the police can't find him. John apologizes to his family for not listening earlier and promises that everything will be fine. The police will handle Ray. The next day, John surprises Hannah by giving her back the car keys. She reminds him she was supposed to be grounded for 2 months, but John says her good behavior has earned back his trust. Excited, Hannah gets ready to meet Tommy once everyone leaves the house. Meanwhile, Ray sneaks inside using a duplicate key, clearly seeking revenge. As Hannah changes clothes in her room, Ray secretly watches from outside. But then, the attic door creaks open. A mysterious man emerges, quickly pulls a plastic bag over Ray's head, and strikes him with a hammer. Hannah doesn't notice this. At this point, the audience realizes the house isn't haunted at all. Someone has been secretly living inside. That night, the intruder appears again in Hannah's room. He stares at her, pulls away her blanket, and lingers over her for a moment before slipping into the vent. He crawls down into the kitchen, where he casually drinks milk from the fridge. John comes downstairs, but doesn't notice him. It's now clear. This unsettling man has been living inside the walls all along, the cause of every strange event from the beginning. But the question remains, who is this man? The next day, Hannah is in the garage when the door suddenly shuts behind her. Just then, Tommy shows up and startles her. She takes him to her room, unaware that the intruder is watching them from inside the closet. Hannah shows Tommy old family photos of the lost residents, and he notices something chilling. Through a window in the background of one picture, a strange boy is standing inside. When Tommy asks who it is, Hannah changes the subject. Moments later, John and Melanie return home. Hannah quickly tells Tommy she'll distract her dad so he can slip out. But as Tommy leaves, the hidden man attacks him. Hannah has no idea what happened. That night, with John and Melanie out for dinner, Hannah stays home alone. She opens a bottle of wine and relaxes in front of the TV. Soon, she hears noises in the kitchen and goes to check. In that moment, the intruder secretly tampers with her drink. When she returns, she unknowingly drinks it and collapses unconscious. The creepy man then emerges from hiding, carries Hannah to her room, and lies down beside her. His face is disturbing, twisted, and deformed, revealing the true horror of who has been living inside their home. The next morning, John scolds Hannah for drinking the night before. Upset, she returns to her room in tears, where she notices the old notebook she had found in the garage. Inside are strange patterns with the name David written on it. Alarmed, Hannah rushes back to the garage and searches through more of the old belongings. This time, she finds files containing David's history. She realizes the terrifying truth. David is the same man hiding in their house. Years ago, David had severe mental issues, and his family tried every treatment, but nothing worked. He refused to leave the house and stayed locked inside. No one outside even knew he existed, which is why his name was never mentioned in the police reports. Hannah pieces it together. It was David who ended the lives of his own family. They likely wanted to move away, but his violent behavior stopped them. She tells John and Melanie, leaving them shocked. John decides to call the hospital, hoping they still have records about David to share with the police. But what they don't know is that David has been secretly listening to their entire conversation. Later, while Hannah is in the kitchen, she suddenly spots David's reflection in a cabinet mirror as he slips down through one of his hidden passageways. Terrified, Hannah tries to stay calm. The moment she gets a chance, she runs upstairs to tell John and Melanie that David is inside the house. Before they can react, David climbs down from the attic and attacks John. Melanie quickly calls the police as the alarm system blares. David drags John back toward the attic, but before he can harm him, the police arrive and shoot David. Badly injured, he is rushed to the hospital. But then comes a shocking twist. The man they carried out was actually Tommy, still alive, whom David had been keeping trapped in the attic. But everything happened so quickly, and he was already injured, so no one recognized him, and the police probably mistook him for David. When the police searched the attic, they discovered that David had been living there for quite some time. After the officers leave, John suggests the family stay in a hotel for a few days. Hearing this, Melanie and Hannah waste no time packing their things. Before leaving, Hannah tries calling Tommy, but shockingly, his phone rings from inside her closet. As she opens the door, David suddenly emerges from a hidden passage and pulls her inside. When Melanie goes to check on Hannah, she finds the room empty and panics. Meanwhile, Hannah regains consciousness, tied up, with David standing over her. She screams for help, and John and Melanie realize she must be trapped behind the walls. Hannah struggles free and crawls through another hidden tunnel filled with pipes, which slows David down. In the process, she accidentally cuts some electrical wires. David then turns his attention toward John and Melanie. John urges Melanie to find Hannah while he distracts David. Following Hannah's cries, Melanie tracks her through the walls just as Hannah crawls upward toward the attic. David isn't far behind, and Melanie finally catches sight of her stepdaughter. Before Hannah can escape, David appears and takes Melanie's life right in front of her. Horrified, Hannah panics as David comes after her again. Just in time, John pulls her up to safety, pushing her ahead to escape. But before he can save himself, David attacks and takes his life too. Now, completely broken, Hannah realizes she's on her own. Determined to survive, she runs for the door, but David is right behind her. He attacks, and Hannah strikes him in the stomach with a sharp object. She crawls toward the exit, desperately trying to open it when David grabs her once more. The film ends with Hannah's screams echoing through the house. There is no happy ending here. Hannah's parents are gone, and her fate is left uncertain. Maybe David keeps her trapped in the walls as he did before. Or maybe the police eventually uncover the truth and stop him. What do you think?